Hey, Patriots fans! We're back with an exclusive video and the latest updates on our beloved New England Patriots. Before we jump in, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. This way, you'll stay updated and never miss any breaking news or exclusive content. The whispers started circulating quietly, almost like background noise in the chaotic world of professional football, but they didn't stay quiet for long. When Saquon Barkley finally broke his silence, even if indirectly, it sent a ripple through fans and analysts alike. The idea that he could have landed with the New England Patriots had been floating around for weeks, maybe even months, but now there was something more tangible, something that felt closer to the truth. According to those close to the situation, the issue wasn't just about football fit or offensive schemes. It went deeper than that. Barkley reportedly felt that the offer placed in front of him didn't reflect his true value, not just as a player, but as a leader and a franchise-changing presence. For someone who has consistently proven himself as one of the most dynamic players on the field, that kind of disconnect can be hard to ignore. And as more details trickle out, it becomes increasingly clear that this wasn't a simple negotiation that fell apart at the last minute. It was a decision shaped by multiple layers of concern, hesitation, and perhaps even doubt about the direction of the organization itself. What really adds fuel to the speculation is the growing narrative that the Patriots are not exactly the stable powerhouse they once were. Behind the scenes, there are murmurs about internal disagreements, about a front office that isn't entirely aligned with the coaching staff, and about decisions that have left players questioning the long-term vision of the team. For a player like Barkley, who is entering a critical stage of his career, those factors matter more than ever. It's not just about signing a contract. It's about choosing a place where you can thrive, compete, and potentially chase something bigger. Sources suggest that Barkley's camp was particularly wary of stepping into what they perceived as an uncertain environment. The word crisis has even been thrown around in some circles, not necessarily as a full-blown collapse, but as a subtle indication that things are not as cohesive as they should be. When you combine that with a financial offer that reportedly fell short of expectations, the picture starts to become clearer. It wasn't just one issue. It was a combination of factors that ultimately pushed Barkley away from what could have been a headline-grabbing move. There's also the question of respect, something that often gets overlooked in these negotiations but plays a massive role behind closed doors. Barkley is not just another running back looking for a paycheck. He sees himself as a cornerstone player, someone who can elevate an entire offense and bring a certain energy to a locker room. When discussions with the Patriots began, there was an initial sense of optimism, a belief that both sides could find common ground. But as talks progressed, that optimism reportedly started to fade. Insiders claim that Barkley felt the Patriots were approaching the deal with a level of caution that bordered on undervaluing his impact. Whether that perception is entirely accurate or not, it clearly influenced the outcome. Players at Barkley's level are often driven by more than just numbers. They want to feel wanted, needed, and appreciated. And if that feeling isn't there, even the allure of joining a historically successful franchise may not be enough to seal the deal. At the same time, fans have begun to connect the dots, trying to understand what this all means for the Patriots moving forward. Missing out on a player like Barkley isn't just about losing a potential weapon on the field. It raises questions about the team's ability to attract top-tier talent in its current state. If the perception around the league is that the organization is dealing with internal instability or offering less competitive contracts, that could have long-term implications. Some believe that this situation could serve as a wake-up call for the front office, a moment to reassess how they approach negotiations and how they present their vision to prospective players. Others, however, see it as part of a larger trend, a sign that the Patriots are still searching for their identity in a post-dominant era. Either way, Barkley's decision not to join them has sparked a conversation that goes far beyond a single player or a single contract. Meanwhile, Barkley himself seems to be moving forward with a clear sense of purpose. Those close to him suggest that he is focused on finding the right environment, not just financially, but culturally and competitively. He wants to be part of something that aligns with his ambitions, something that gives him the best chance to succeed at the highest level. Turning down the Patriots, if the rumors are to be believed, wasn't an easy decision. It's never simple to walk away from a storied franchise, even if that franchise is currently facing challenges. But for Barkley, it appears to have been the right call, at least from his perspective. The emphasis on long-term fit over short-term gain speaks volumes about how he views his career and his legacy. And in a league where decisions are often driven by immediate results, that kind of mindset stands out. As the story continues to unfold, one thing is certain. This isn't the last time we'll hear about what could have been. The idea of Barkley in a Patriots uniform will likely remain a topic of debate among fans and analysts for quite some time. What if the offer had been higher? What if the organizational concerns had been addressed more convincingly? These are questions that may never have definitive answers, but they add to the intrigue of the situation. For now, all we have are pieces of a puzzle, fragments of conversations and reports that hint at a larger story beneath the surface. And in the world of sports, sometimes those stories are just as compelling as anything that happens on the field. The second wave of speculation has started to dig even deeper, shifting the focus from just Barkley's perspective to the broader implications inside the Patriots organization. People around the league have begun to wonder whether this situation is part of a pattern rather than an isolated case. There are quiet suggestions that other players, not necessarily of Barkley's caliber but still significant, have also hesitated when considering offers from the team. The idea that a franchise once known for its structure and discipline could now be facing questions about internal cohesion is something that would have seemed almost unthinkable not long ago. Yet, here we are, with rumors pointing to disagreements in strategy, differences in vision, and a possible disconnect between decision-makers. If even a portion of that is true, it could explain why negotiations with Barkley didn't reach a successful conclusion. Players talk, agents share insights, and reputations spread quickly in professional sports. If the perception is that things are not fully aligned within the organization, it can become a significant obstacle in attracting elite talent. Another layer to this unfolding story involves the financial philosophy of the Patriots. Historically, the team has been known for its disciplined approach to spending, often avoiding massive contracts in favor of maintaining flexibility and balance across the roster. While that strategy has yielded success in the past, the current landscape of the league is very different. Star players are commanding higher salaries, and teams are increasingly willing to invest heavily in game-changing talent. In that context, the reported low offer to Barkley becomes even more intriguing. Was it simply a continuation of the Patriots' traditional approach, or does it signal a reluctance to adapt to the evolving market? For Barkley, who likely had multiple options on the table, this could have been a decisive factor. Accepting a lower salary might make sense if the situation offered clear competitive advantages or stability, but if those elements are in question, the equation changes dramatically. There is also a human element to all of this that often gets lost in the numbers and analysis. Barkley is not just evaluating teams as abstract entities. He is considering where he will live, who he will work with, and how he will be supported both on and off the field. Reports suggest that during the negotiation process, there were moments where the communication between the two sides felt strained or inconsistent. Whether that was due to misaligned expectations or simply the natural tension of contract talks, it appears to have left an impression. For a player making a major career decision, those interactions can carry significant weight. It's not just about what is said, but how it is said, and whether there is a sense of mutual understanding. If Barkley felt that the Patriots were not fully meeting him halfway in those discussions, it would add another reason to step away from the deal. Fans, of course, are reacting in all sorts of ways. Some are frustrated, believing that the team missed a golden opportunity to bring in a player who could have made an immediate impact. Others are more cautious, trusting that the organization has a plan and that avoiding a high-cost contract might prove beneficial in the long run. But even among the more optimistic supporters, there is a sense of curiosity, a desire to understand what really happened behind the scenes. The lack of clear, official explanations only adds to the mystery, leaving room for speculation to grow. And in the absence of concrete answers, every rumor, every reported detail, takes on greater significance. What makes this situation particularly fascinating is how it reflects the shifting dynamics of power in the league. Players like Barkley have more agency than ever before, more ability to choose their destinations and shape their careers on their own terms. This isn't just about one player declining one offer. It's about a broader trend in which athletes are increasingly prioritizing fit, culture, and long-term vision over simply joining the most recognizable franchises. The Patriots, despite their history, may no longer have the automatic pull they once did. And if that's the case, it could force them to rethink how they position themselves in negotiations moving forward. In the end, the story of why Barkley didn't go to the Patriots remains a blend of confirmed details and lingering questions. The low salary offer, the rumored internal issues, the perceived lack of alignment, all of these elements come together to form a narrative that feels both complex and incomplete. It's the kind of story that invites debate, that keeps fans and analysts talking long after the initial headlines fade. And perhaps that's what makes it so compelling. Because in sports, as in life, the most interesting stories are often the ones that are not fully resolved, the ones that leave us wondering what might have been and what comes next. And as the noise continues to grow, another angle begins to emerge, one that shifts attention toward how this entire situation might impact Barkley's image across the league. There are those who believe that by walking away from a traditional powerhouse like the Patriots, he is making a bold statement about his priorities, signaling that he values structure, respect, and competitive clarity over legacy appeal alone. In certain circles, that kind of decision is seen as empowering, almost symbolic of a new generation of players who refuse to settle for anything less than what they believe they deserve. But at the same time, there are skeptics who wonder if passing on such an opportunity could carry hidden risks. What if the Patriots manage to stabilize and rebuild faster than expected? What if the narrative shifts and Barkley is seen as the one who missed out? These questions linger quietly in the background, adding another layer of intrigue to a story that already feels loaded with tension and speculation. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our New England Patriots. And don't be shy, share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Inside locker rooms around the league, the situation has reportedly become a topic of quiet discussion among players. Not in an explosive or dramatic way, but in those subtle conversations that happen behind closed doors, where opinions are shared more honestly. Some players are said to admire Barkley's stance, viewing it as a reminder that athletes should not feel pressure to accept less than their worth, regardless of the franchise involved. Others, however, take a more cautious view, pointing out that opportunities in the league can be unpredictable, and sometimes taking a chance on a team in transition can lead to unexpected success. This divide in perspective highlights just how complex decisions like this can be. It's never just about one factor, and it's rarely as simple as right or wrong. For Barkley, every variable, from financial terms to organizational culture, appears to have played a role in shaping his final choice. At the same time, there is growing curiosity about how the Patriots themselves are responding internally to this outcome. While public reactions have been limited and carefully controlled, it's hard to imagine that missing out on a player of Barkley's caliber hasn't sparked some level of reflection within the organization. Are they reassessing their approach to negotiations? Are they questioning whether their current strategy aligns with the expectations of modern players? These are the kinds of discussions that often remain hidden from public view, yet they can have a profound impact on the future direction of a team. If the rumors about internal disagreements hold any truth, this situation could act as a catalyst, forcing difficult conversations and potentially leading to changes in how decisions are made moving forward. Or, on the other hand, the organization might double down on its philosophy, convinced that discipline and patience will ultimately pay off. As everything continues to unfold, one thing becomes increasingly clear: this story is far from over. The decision that kept Barkley away from the Patriots is no longer just a footnote in an off-season narrative. It has evolved into a broader discussion about value, stability, and the shifting landscape of professional football. Every new rumor, every whispered detail adds another piece to the puzzle, keeping fans engaged and analysts searching for answers. And perhaps the most compelling part of it all is that, despite the growing amount of information, there is still no definitive conclusion. It remains a story driven by interpretation, shaped by perspective, and fueled by the endless curiosity that surrounds the sport. In a way, that uncertainty is what keeps it alive, turning a single decision into an ongoing saga that continues to capture attention and spark debate across the football world. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our New England Patriots, be sure to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.